The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Episode 6 has finally premiered. The series has finally come to an end, or rather, the season's finally come to an end. And I have a lot of thoughts about this episode. Overall, I really enjoyed The Ones Who Live. It was great seeing Rick and Michonne back on screen together after all these years. It was great to see what was going on with Rick in his absence from the main Walking Dead show. I was so happy to see the resolve there, to pick up with his story and to see and learn what he's been up to this whole time. I gotta say, it's not exactly what I was expecting to happen with the show overall, but it was pleasantly surprising. I was pleased with that result. And so, the finale of The Ones Who Live, I'm mixed on it. I'll be honest, I'm mixed on it. I liked it overall, but I'm conflicted with how the CRM story was resolved. I feel like the CRM was taken out way too quickly. I don't really like how swift the army was taken out by Rick and Michonne, the fact that General Beale is already dead. I think there was a story there that you could have easily drawn out just a little bit more, and it didn't even have to go beyond the show, but I really just wish we had another episode or two to flesh out the CRM story, to really give more to Major General Beale, because I don't really feel like he was a great villain. I think that he had a lot of great scenes. Terry O'Quinn did an amazing job with this character, but I think there was a lot of build up and there was no proper resolve with his character. I don't feel like his character got his due. So as a villain, he was very disappointing, just in the fact that we really didn't get to see him do a whole lot. He had a lot of great speeches, a lot of great dialogue, and when he was giving Rick the Echelon briefing, I was really bought into what he was saying. It was gripping. It was very, very entertaining. And so him as a character, I thought really worked. I just wish we got a lot more with this character. I think that's the most disappointing aspect of all of this, is I wish we had gotten more with him, more with the CRM. I don't like that the CRM has seemingly been reformed overnight. I think that was done very abruptly, very quickly, but this is just kind of a nitpick of mine. I think I wanted more from that, but in the end, I have to think back to what was this show really about. This show was really about Rick and Michonne reuniting, and it was about bringing Rick home. It was about Michonne bringing Rick back, both back to who he was as the Rick Grimes that we knew, and then back home to Alexandria. So I'm going to skip to that ending scene when they get back to Alexandria, and Rick is seeing Judith grown up for the first time. Last time he saw her, she was a little toddler, and now he's seen her as a teenager, and meeting RJ for the first time. I've heard this sentiment online, and it's kind of what I experienced when I first watched the episode, was that Rick feels very awkward in the scene. There's not a natural reuniting with these characters, and I think a lot of that has to do with how the character would have felt, how Rick would have felt. You know, he's been away for 8 years, almost 8 years, missed out on all of this time, and he's got to wonder, you know, how do they perceive me? Are they going to hate me for being gone? Am I going to be welcomed back with open arms? Am I going to be rejected? I'm a stranger to these people, in a sense. I'm a stranger to my own children, and I think it was captured very well. You can see nervousness, and then you can see relief on Rick's face. Just the fact that he's being accepted by his kids. They're so happy to see him back. Rick and Michonne, RJ and Judith, they're all reunited. They're all home. I wish we had gone into Alexandria, but I'm pretty certain they're at least on the outskirts of Alexandria. So I was happy to see that. I was happy to see the reunion. I think with that taken into account, that part of the show was done very well. It was great seeing Rick come home, and I was so worried. There was one point in the episode when they're being attacked by all the walkers. Thorne is trying to kill Rick and Michonne. They're having this fight at the end after they've already gassed everyone. Rick's literally backed up into a corner, has a grenade, and it appears that Rick blew himself up. We cut to a commercial break for a quick second, and then we come back. It got me. It had me. I was like, no, there's no way they just killed Rick. I was glad they didn't. I was so relieved. That's one of the first times in a very long time when I was got by a fake out death. Immediately relieved, just like Michonne was. I was so worried that one of them was going to be killed at the end of this episode. And I didn't want either one of them to go, because I was like, we just got them back. There's so much more story to tell. And with the end of this episode, I was so happy to see Rick and Michonne live in the end. They are the ones who live, and we're going to get more stories with Rick Grimes and Michonne. Nothing confirmed yet, but I'm 100% positive we will be getting more stories with these characters. Rick's going to be reunited with Daryl. He's going to see Negan Negan for the first time since he saw him in the prison cell at Alexandria, so that's going to be an interesting interaction. Going to reunite with Maggie, hopefully with Morgan, because Morgan's searching for him after the end of Fear the Walking Dead. I'm just so looking forward to seeing all of these characters reunite eventually in the next couple years or so. I've kind of skipped around on this. It's going to be a little shorter recap review, probably not as long as my previous ones, but I don't have a whole lot to say other than I wanted a lot more from the CRM. I wanted a lot more from Major General Beale. I think the CRM was taken out a little too quickly. However, I was very happy to see the reunion with Rick and Michonne, with Judith and RJ at the end of the episode. As far as that is concerned, the very ending of the episode works very well. I do think the CRM was reformed a little too quickly, so maybe there's more story to tell there, because Beale did say some interesting things in his Echelon briefing. One thing was that the CRM has spies all over the globe in multiple communities, so maybe we'll get more CRM stories told there. I'm sure there's going to be some Beale supporters, Beale sympathizers in the world, so maybe there's a certain section of the CRM that will come back and be a problem for our group down the line. I hope to see more of that story fleshed out and told. I just think there was a bit of a mishandling with this finale. It did feel a little rushed. I wish we had gotten another episode or two. I think 8 episodes versus 6 episodes works a whole lot better. The length of each episode I think was fine. I didn't have an issue with that. I just wish we would have gotten at least one more episode, maybe focusing in on the CRM. I know this was a Rick and Michonne show, but I would have liked to have at least seen what our villains of the show were doing a little bit more. More from Beale, because Beale is a very interesting character. Every time he talked, I was so captivated with every little thing he was talking about. But there was one aspect of the Echelon briefing that I find very interesting. It's the whole reason why the CRM is taking out these other cities. They're taking them out for supplies, for resources, because Beale says the scientists of the CRM, they predict humanity only has about 14 years or so left as a species before they die out from sickness, from being bitten and turned into walkers, starvation, whatever it be. Humanity only has less than 20 years left on the planet, at least as a major group, before they start to go extinct. That was very interesting and kind of scary to hear. So did Rick make the right decision here? I know Beale wasn't going about things the best way. He may have had the best intentions, but does the end justify the means? And no, the means are not justified here. He was doing horrific things. The frontline military of the CRM was doing very, very horrific things. But was Beale right in the end? Will he be right, proven right in the end? That we have to do these drastic things, take drastic measures in order for humanity to survive. That's going to be really interesting to see if he was right in that scenario. But I think what Rick's thinking is, though, no, this is not the way to go about it. The only way we survive, the only way we continue as a species, is if we are free and united together for this common cause. Not trying to take other communities out, but trying to fight for survival as a collective group, as a collective species. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see down the line as well. I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out. Overall, the episode itself, I was a little disappointed with how it was all resolved, how it all ended, but as a series from beginning to end, I was gripped week to week. I couldn't wait to see the next episode. Walking Dead Sundays are back to watching the show, watching this universe like I was when I was first watching The Walking Dead years and years ago. And so I'm very excited to be back in this universe, back in this world. I'm so excited that Rick and Michonne are back. Can't wait to see what other stories they're going to be involved with down the road. Can't wait to see more of that coming our way. We got Daryl Dixon Season 2, The Book of Carol, coming later this summer. The teaser for that has already been released, and that looks really cool, really exciting. I got to get caught up on Season 1 because I haven't seen Season 1, but I'm going to be watching that later this year, and I'm going to be doing some videos over that show too, both Season 1 and Season 2. I've got a whole new series on the Walking Dead universe as a whole that I'm going to be releasing in the next week or so, and that'll be a weekly series. I'm very excited to get that released to you guys. Can't wait for you to see it. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be so fun to put together. I've got a lot of cool ideas for that series, and so I can't wait to get that to you. Be a little vague with it, but I'm going to be more clear with it as we get closer to release, so be on the lookout for that, and I hope you like it. But the show as a whole, I really did enjoy it. I'm going to give my full recap and review of the entire The Ones Who Live Live show in my compilation recap and review video that'll be coming out in the next, maybe the next week, maybe the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for me to get that finished, so I got a little bit of work to do on that, but that's where I'm going to give my full final thoughts on the show as a whole. On the specific episode, if I'm going to give it a ranking, I've got to give it a 3.5 out of 5 or a B- on the letter scale. It was a good episode overall. I was just a little disappointed with how the CRM stuff was dealt with, how the General Beale stuff was dealt with. I wish we had gotten a little bit more from both of them, a little bit more from our adversaries in this story. But the Rick and Michonne aspect of it, that side of the story, very pleased to see how that turned out, and I was so happy to see the reunion with Rick and Michonne and Judith and RJ. That was great to see those two characters come in at the end of this episode. I think as a series overall, it was really enjoyable. The episode was just a little underwhelming. This is probably my least favorite episode of the entire series, but it's not a terrible episode either. I just wanted a little bit more out of it. It was slightly disappointing in some aspects, but I also had a lot of fun with it. And so again, this video is a little all over the place. I'm sorry I didn't go sequential throughout the episode. I'm not doing a breakdown. This is just a little recap and review, my initial thoughts on these episodes. I hope you enjoyed this series of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live. I hope you enjoyed the videos that I've been putting out over it. It's been really fun to do. I'll go more in depth in my full recap and review of the entire series when that video comes out. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this show. I was having a lot of fun with this show. I was so glad to be back in the world of The Walking Dead. I hope you were too. I hope you enjoyed The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, and I hope you enjoyed my videos on the series. Let me know what you thought of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live episode 6 down in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Remember to like this video, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing coming from this channel in the future. Hit that bell icon so you get notified on every video that is released. Guys, I hope you have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.